For this project, students will create a research magazine about a randomly assigned state. Students will research different aspects of the state by creating inquiry questions or being given inquiry questions, and using online databases, encyclopedias, websites, and books to find information. Information will be entered into this table on Google Docs, and later it will be transferred onto a Google Slides template for printing. I used ChatGPT to help me design a simpler version of the Google Docs table for students with writing disabilities, and it looks like this. The template will be given one page at a time to students in need of Tier 2 or 3 resources in order to break it down into smaller, more manageable pieces. I also used Chat to create a template on a more advanced level for students who need extension assignments. I use Chat because I have extensive experience using this platform to create templates, worksheets, and other resources for students, and I found it to be extremely helpful. I included the template used for average students, and I asked Chat to create 2 differentiated versions of this project by 1, rewriting the questions on a 3rd grade level, keeping each section to the 3 most important questions, and only requiring students to list their sources rather than cite them. That's for the simplified version. And 2, for the extension version, I required students to create their own inquiry questions, and for each section to require students to cite a source for each question. The first way that students may use AI is by also using ChatGPT, but using it appropriately. They may use the chat search bar to type in questions like, find me articles about economy in New Hampshire. To further their search, once they have all of these articles, they can then type in, pick the 3 most appropriate for a 5th grader. And ChatGPT will come up with the 3 most appropriate items for a 5th grader. Students may use these to further their research. So it'll give them the title and the source, and they can copy and paste that into search bar, which will bring them to an appropriate source for them to use. The second way that students may use AI is by using Brisk, which is an addition to all of the computers in our district. So if a student finds an article that they find particularly interesting, maybe it's this one about affordability in New Hampshire, there will be a little bee that pops up at the bottom of my screen here once it loads. And by clicking that bee, students can ask Brisk to lower or strengthen the reading level of this article. If you look right here, you'll see this bee, and I'll click on it. This will just give students the opportunity to find articles that they think might be interesting or have the information that they need, while also finding the reading level of comfort for them. Because the topic or the purpose of this assignment is not to extend our reading level, it is to learn how to research. Students will need to list their AI sources, but as writing is a new skill for 5th graders in my district, they will not need to complete a citation for their source, for their AI sources. They will need to list their AI sources. Students on Tier 2 to 3 will only need to list sources for each inquiry question, whereas my other students will have to actually cite those sources. So I think adding one more step of citations is unnecessary, as this is an introductory assignment for them. Going back to Brisk, so this is starting to load. See here where it says change level. If you click on that, it will tell you what the current reading level is, which is 10th grade, and maybe I want a 4th grade reading level, so I'll keep that box checked. Change reading level, and a new Google Docs will pop up for me, and it'll have this entire article rewritten as a 4th grade level. As a final overview, the overall objective of this assignment is to teach students the very basics of what research is and how to do it using modern and manual tools. So I think the use of physical reading materials, virtual databases, and the responsible use of AI is important for their use of these tools in the future. As a modern teacher, we all have to figure out how to include AI in our daily lives because it's here, whether we like it or not. So I think using it appropriately and teaching students to use it appropriately is not only a good idea, but a necessary idea. So as we wait for this to load, I will also explain that I use Brisk for all kinds of things. My students who are on an 8th grade reading level in my 5th grade reading class, I will create documents or change articles that we're reading to fit their needs better as well, not just my students who struggle. So as you can see, it gave me the same document, however, it is rewritten for students who might need that. So overall, I think AI is important, and I think it's important to start using in classrooms because students are going to use it one way or another, and I think it's just best that we teach them how to use it appropriately.